Good morning, everybody, and I hope everybody's well and okay. It's still early for me to be doing this, but I thought I might as well do it. As um, as you know, in coffee morning, there's a big storm here in the UK, and I've hardly slept all night, and so everything's early at the moment. How long it'll take to load is another story. But I'm doing this early. It's only about 7:30 now. So I'm in my bedroom, actually. I'm in my bedroom and I'm on my bed. Um, it's just crazy, that weather. And I can see it being here, this storm, for a few days yet. Might be today, might be tomorrow. I just hope I don't have to go out in it, really, because it's really awful. And we've only 4 days to Christmas. Who knows what will happen? Christmas Eve, Richard and I are meant to go to my in-laws, which is Richard's mum and dad's, on Christmas Eve. So hopefully that'll work out. So anyway, welcome to Morning General Chit Chat. Now, we all know what it's like to be in relationships. Most of us are probably married, got kids. I mean, I don't have any children, but everybody else found the right partner, got children, and you think you've found your happily ever after. But sometimes things don't always go the way you plan them to. And when I say that, relationships don't always work out. I mean, you see it happen all the time in the world of celebrities. All the time. Either the spouse has found someone else, or it just doesn't work. And there can be many, many reasons why this can happen. Relationships are never a guarantee. For anybody who is suffering from a broken relationship at the moment, I'm really, really sorry, because it can be heartbreaking. Now, relationships has many twists and turns. Sometimes for the better, and sometimes for the worse. You get with someone, in some cases you can get with someone and you think you've really found the right person. But then, and you marry them. And then suddenly they're not the person you married. Now, there's some really, really bad cases where that person has turned violent towards you. And getting out of that vicious cycle must be extremely difficult. And for those who are suffering from that anywhere in the world, I just can't imagine it. I really can't. And you hear about it, and you know these women and men, because it happens both sexes, who are suffering from domestic abuse. My heart goes out to you, because I can't imagine it. I really can't. Now, I know this subject's gone into a dark turn, and I apologise for that. But if you're in this situation, you need to get out. Somehow you need to get away from that person. I know you're probably thinking it's all right for me to say because I'm not in that situation. But it can happen to anybody. I've been in a relationship where it was a little bit turmoil. And it nearly did end up in it being domestic. And this was with someone I'd been with for over 3 years. And he had a drink problem. And it was going out of hand. It was going out of hand with his drinking. And it ended up with, it got really nasty. There was a lot of name calling. And there was an incident when he didn't hit me, but he sort of pushed me, and he pushed me onto my bed, and he was sort of on top of me, and I screamed. And luckily I was living with my mum and dad then. If they weren't there, because they came running up the stairs, if they weren't there, I don't know what would have happened. But I'm glad they were. So, and that was all over the fact that all he wanted to do was sleep. And I tried to wake him up. I was having none of it. So then came the abuse, then came the name calling, and calling me all the names under the sun. I don't really want to repeat with what he was calling me because it's really not very nice. But I think you get the general idea. So after that night, it was the end. And I got out and I told him it was over and I never wanted to see him again. So anybody who is suffering, there is a way out. And there is things you can do and places places you can turn to. There's a lot of charities who can help. Ring the police if you can. I know a lot of people get held hostage by the partners. They don't let them out at all, and that's no way to live. And they can't use the children against you. They can't. Because that's how they get in. You meet someone, you don't know the true colours until you marry them, and especially when you have a child with them. Because that's how they play. The child is sort of like the bait, and so there are places you can turn. Okay. I don't want to bring up the fact that it gets worse. Because it does. It may start off with one smack across the face, and then it goes deeper and it gets more. So you need to get out. Hey Richard.
Yeah.
I'm just doing general morning chit chat.
Oh,
Okay.
cool,
Oh, sure. Sure. Now, let's go to non-serious matters. And I'm sorry I had to break that up. Now, broken relationships. We've been through a few, Richard and I. Richard's been married before, so he knows as well as I do about broken relationships. It may be one of you or both of you is unhappy in that relationship, and it starts to show. You start seeing cracks in your relationships. Now, if somebody turns round to you, if your partner turns round to you and says, I'm not happy in this relationship, I don't think it's working, then you must do the right thing. It must be hard, but you must do the right thing and accept it. I've been in a relationship. No, I've been through a good few boyfriends, as you know. I've been through a relationship where I kept telling my then boyfriend that this wasn't working, and I'd been with him for 3.5 years. And he would not listen, he would not accept that it was over. There was nothing left of that relationship to hang on to for me. There was just nothing. I was so unhappy with that relationship that I wanted out. And he wouldn't accept it. He just wouldn't accept it. It got nasty. And the reason being because somebody, now take this how you want. The reason why I was so unhappy with that person was because we never did anything together. Our day consisted of him playing his computer games and I watching TV. And this was in the same room. This was in the same room. We were doing that day in, day out. That was our relationship. We never went anywhere. We never went to the cinema. We never went for meals out. We never went anywhere. And I was fed up. I was fed up in that relationship, and I told him so. And he just would not accept that it was over. And then suddenly I started going out and I got paid attention to. And it ended up, I kind of started seeing someone, and my boyfriend found out. But it got that way where he pushed me too far and I got attention from someone else. So that's where, yeah, I did wrong too. I hold my hands up. I did wrong too. So we found out and it turned nasty. And there was a lot of name calling, a lot of bitching, that sort of thing. And I mean, who came worse off? Probably me, because there was a lot of hurt involved. A friendship broke. A few friendships broke down because of it. So I was the so as a lesson learned, if someone's unhappy in the relationship, listen to them and accept it, because it causes more hurt. There's such a thing as fighting. Like if you went your separate ways and you have time to breathe, think things over, things might repair. That person might change their minds. But, sorry, my nose is still a tiny bit runny. But there you go. It happens. And there's always someone else. Like, I believe the boyfriend who I used to be with, I wish him no ill will. I really don't, because he's doing well for himself. He himself has got a partner who he's living with and is very, very happy. So I'm so happy for him. I really am. And I just wish him the best. I really do. So, but that's not the way to go. Do they call it cheating these days? That's the worst thing I've ever done in a relationship. But it was only because he drove me to it. He just wouldn't accept it. And it was already over. In my eyes, it was over. really, when I started seeing this other person. I mean, don't get me wrong, that was something and nothing. That was just like, as I seen this person, it didn't end up in a relationship. It was just someone there to find comfort in. So it's not the end of the road. You may suffer for a bit when you break up with someone, or they break up with you. But give yourself a chance to breathe and heal, and eventually someone else will come along when you're ready. It's being ready for that new beginning of a relationship. I could tell you about all my boyfriends, basically. There was one before my Richard. There was one before my Richard, and I hate to say it, but he really broke my heart. He really, really broke my heart, and just thinking about it, it just still makes me sad, still makes me sad of what happened, because I really thought he was the right guy. I know it's silly. I'm getting a bit tearful, and my husband's here in the same room, but he also has suffered a broken heart. Am I right, Richard? You've also suffered a broken heart.
When? Yeah, I know Wilkinson.
if that's who you want to say broke your heart, that's fine. But I mean, I was so in love with this man, and I thought I had it all with him. I mean, we weren't even living together, but when we got together, I met his daughter and everything. So yeah, it had a past, and he so we'd go to Wales, we'd visit his daughter sometimes. I didn't always go with him, but when I did go with him, it was really, really nice. And when we first met, I told him how I felt about drugs. That I didn't like drugs. I mean, it's bad enough being on drugs for health conditions. That's how I look at it. People who have to take medication, well, it's a shame, basically. And for people who abuse drugs, well, that's a different story, isn't it? It's not acceptable. But I don't like drugs. I'm a bit like B. Smith in Prisoner Cell Block H. I can't stand drugs whatsoever. And so we were at a house party, and unfortunately it was recreation drugs, maybe some of the stronger stuff. and I caught him. Caught him doing it, and that was the end. That was the end of us. And that's why we ended. Because I could have trusted him now. With relationships, trust is everything. Do you agree? You don't know. Trust. You need to trust that person. So, I could talk about this all day, but I'm not going to. But for broken relationships, your heart will heal. It took me to get over him. It took me a long time. I'd say it took me over 2 years, I'd say, to get over him. But I did. I don't know what happened to him. I've no idea what happened to him. But I got there and I moved on. It's all about moving on and finding a way forward. Okay. Right, this has been seriously long. 27 minutes has gone. So, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. For everybody who is suffering from a breakdown in the marriage, a relationship that's over, and for those who really need to get out of a relationship as well. There's always a way forward. Okay. So I'll leave it there now, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Now, hopefully I'll be able to do lunchtime with me if I can rustle up something good. Please check out all my other videos and content, as you may find them interesting and enjoyable. Thank you to my current subscribers and hopefully future subscribers, as you will all be amazing. Please take care. It's only 4 days to Christmas now, 4, and it's soon coming. Please take care on the roads, whatever you're doing out there. Be vigilant. Okay. So that's it. And please take care. Okay. So see you later. All right. Bye. Bye.